as if getting one new exciting electronic device isn't enough, I have received another new exciting electronic device. This is my phone. This is my Nokia 8.1, and it's been a good phone since I got it in 2018. It's actually lasted a bit longer than phones usually do. I always put it to about 3 years before a smartphone starts to go funny. And this one has started to go funny in ways that I feel quite strongly that it could just conk out at any moment. Not so long ago it had to reboot out of nowhere, and it came up with an error saying that the system data was corrupt. Thankfully I did manage to get it to boot, but who knows when that'll happen again and if it will survive. So yeah, and the power button's kind of not really working properly, and there's various things that are generally up with the phone. So I thought, maybe it's time for a new one. And I did some research, and I think I came up with a corker. This, my friends, is you can't read it. It's a Fairphone. It's a Fairphone, everybody. Now, if you remember my chocolate episode, then you'll know that Tony's Chocophonely is quite high on my list. Not only because it's excellent chocolate, but because it's doing good for the chocolate supply chain. And the Fairphone is the same sort of deal. So here is the device. I'll show you the back of it in a second because it's very exciting. I also keep looking over at the camera. I've noticed that all my thumbnails I'm looking over in this direction, so I need to stop doing that. But anyway, this is my Fairphone. It doesn't look like very much at the moment, and that's because, it's just a phone, Phones tend to kind of look the same. I mean, spot the difference, That one's got fingerprints on it. But yes, here it is. It's I've not finished setting it up yet, and all you can see is a white screen. Really? Oh, there we go. I thought it was something with the screen where it couldn't be recorded on camera. That would have been cool, but no, it's just because this is a mostly white page. But if I go home, then you can see its colours. Look, how exciting. And the thing with the Fairphone is that not only is it a similar sort of mission to Chocophonely, i.e. it's meant to be a fair trade phone. The supply chains are more ethical, not 100% because it can't be 100% because that's the way the world works, but as ethical as it can be and as as fair as it can be, hence the name Fairphone. They try and source things as best they can and do as well as they can with it. Recycled and renewable and traceable materials, I think, is the key part. And yeah, that's the whole idea behind it. This packaging, for example, you'll notice it's quite thin for a phone case, a phone box. In fact, it's only big enough to fit the phone in, really, safely anyway. And the idea is, you'll notice it says on the back, you might not be able to read it actually, but it says we do not include a USB-C cable or charger in this box because you probably have one at home, and we want to reduce waste. Damn good idea if you ask me. Because I've got a perfectly good USB-C charger now that came with my Nokia, so I'll just keep using that. And yeah, literally all it contains is the phone. It's kind of similar to this that only contained the controller and, funnily enough, a cable. But something that particularly drew me to this, other than the fact that it being a fair phone, it also respects you as a user. It's a bit more private, and it lets you install all sorts of custom software and things. It lets you root it. It's great. But look at the back. This isn't a print. This is actually what's inside the phone. It's got a translucent case, which is just fabulous. And yeah, you can actually take the whole back off. I mean, I haven't done yet, and it might prove a little tricky, but there we go. Look. Off it comes. Try not to snap it in the process. Phone is getting excited because I'm manhandling it, but here we go. I cannot get the back off. Come on. There we are. How rare is that? And I don't know if you can tell just from looking at it, but each of these components is separate. You can take them out and replace them. They sell just the replacement parts. So if something goes wrong in your phone, if the for example, you get chocolate in the charging port like I did, and it stops working, well, you can take the charging port and speakers out, order a new one, and they'll send you slot it in. I don't know if anybody remembers, a few years ago there was an initiative, an idea called phone blocks, and it was bought by Google and killed. But the concept behind that was, so I'm just putting the back of my phone back on. I need to take that off in a second to put my SIM card in, but anyway. The idea behind that was you had a device and you stuck components to the back of it and it would create a whole phone for you that you could customize. This is kind of not the culmination of that, but it's a workable solution based on that idea, and it's brilliant. They actually, Phone Blocks people recommend the Fairphone because it's modular and because it lets you, like, if I wanted to take this one apart, well, first of all, how the balls am I going to get in it, because you can't take the back off. Everything's all little SIM trays and things, you know. This is the antithesis to modern phone design, and it's excellent. Also, the camera's pretty good too. So, I need to get a nice case for it. I'll probably get one off eBay because, you know, unless you get Pixel or Samsung or iPhones, cases tend to be very hard to come by, and I don't want to get a Pixel or a Samsung or an iPhone. I wanted a Fairphone, and so I'm going to have to get one off eBay. But, yeah, there's another thing that I want to try and do now that I've got a new phone is I want to have sort of a fresh start with it. So I did initially try to install a thing called EOS, which is a version of Android that's completely de-Googled, and then kind of realised that I still rely on quite a bit of Google stuff to just for my day-to-day, things like Google Pay, for instance, and the Play Store. I've got a few paid apps that I wanted. So that was quite difficult, and so I need to work on that a bit more. So that's gone. I've just gone back to the default Android experience, which is still better than it is on, say, the Pixel or even the Nokia. But I want to de-Google as much as possible, and so I've found a nice Google Photos alternative. I already have got myself off Gmail. I'm going to just not even use the Gmail app because I don't need it. And going to try and reduce the Googleness on my phone. It's still Android, and I'm still signed into a Google account. It's all bad news, really, but I want to try and make it better for myself. So, that's my new phone. Isn't it cool? And yeah, I'm really chuffed with it. I would have actually gone. I'm going to wrap up shortly because, you know, I'm running low on time. But they did have. I was very tempted to go for the previous gen. You'll see this is the Fairphone 5, the newest one. And I was tempted to go for the previous generation, the Fairphone 4, specifically one of the recycled, the refurbished ones that they have. They've got a really nice speckled green back. But unfortunately, because Fairphone isn't a massive corporation and they can't throw the weight around, the chip in that is obsolete, and that's part of the problem. The components are they're only rated for a few years, and so, while Fairphone, I'm going to end up going over 10 minutes, aren't I? Whatever. While Fairphone does offer a 5-year warranty on every single one of its devices, which is already fantastic, it's difficult when one of the key components in your device is already out of date before you've gone through the warranty period. So, yeah, it's a bit of a hard sell, that, and it's unfortunate. But anyway, all we can do is just put our money where our mouths are and try and make things better if we can. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.